Yvette Cooper and David Lammy have officially launched Labour's so-called reset on migration. But let's not kid ourselves. This isn't a bold new strategy. It's political damage control. A last-minute PR move to plaster over the gaping wounds Nigel Farage and Reform UK have ripped open in Labour's traditional voter base. Make no mistake, this isn't policy evolution. It's panic. Reform is climbing in the polls. Labour is slipping. Farage is back and voicing what millions of people feel. Britain's had enough. So what are Cooper and Lammy offering? Let's unpack it. First, there's David Lammy, who once dismissed Brexit voters as racist, now positioning himself as Labour's foreign policy leader on migration. His big idea? Elevate illegal immigration into an international issue. Apparently the plans to host summits, mingle at diplomatic events, and urge other countries to care about Britain's border problems. But the truth is, they don't. They never have. And while Lammy rubs shoulders with European elites at G7 and UN meetings, the channel crossings continue, unchecked. Already this year, over 10,000 illegal migrants have arrived, and it's not even summer. Lammy's solution: conferences, vague agreements, a signature here, a handshake there. It's performative politics, not practical leadership. Then there's Yvette Cooper, armed with a white paper on legal migration that's little more than red tape, dressed as reform. She wants to raise the skilled visa threshold to degree level, ignoring vast sectors of the economy that depend on manual and vocational labor. It's a one-size-fits-all policy with no nuance, framed in the usual jargon about fairness. Cooper also wants to force employers to train British workers. A decent idea in theory, except it's been promised by every government for decades. Yet here we are, still importing a labor, still putting pressure on services, still watching wages stagnate. This isn't strategy. It's Labour trying to look tough because Reform UK is winning. They didn't just perform well in recent elections. They crushed Labour in heartlands they dominated for generations. Hundreds of council seats flipped. Now polling shows Reform at 28%, 5 points ahead of Labour. That's not a dip. It's a meltdown in motion. And only now does Labour start talking about migration again. Coincidence? Farage, meanwhile, isn't mincing words. While Lammy writes memos and Cooper spins slogans, Farage points out what's obvious to ordinary people. Unchecked immigration is breaking the system. Housing is stretched thin, the NHS is overwhelmed, schools are overcrowded, and the working class bears the burden. Labour is obsessing over visa definitions and arranged relationships, while Farage says what others won't. Failed asylum seekers must be deported, foreign criminals removed, human rights loopholes closed. It's about sovereignty and safety, not virtue signaling. And Labour's rebuttal? Weak. Tory MP Chris Philp called it out. Labour has no grip, no guts, and no genuine plan. They could have backed migration caps or supported tougher laws, but instead they pander to Brussels and broadsheet columnists. Because this isn't about policy tweaks. It's about principle. Labour spent years branding any criticism of mass migration as a xenophobia. They told voters border controls were a far-right obsession. Now they're asking us to believe they have changed? It's not a change of heart. It's fear. Fear of Farage, fear of reform, and fear of the voters they abandoned. While Labour shuffles paper and spins headlines, Farage delivers blunt truths. Britain is full, and communities are changing beyond recognition. It's not just about numbers. It's about identity, culture, and control. And it gets worse. Behind the scenes, Labour is preparing to unravel Brexit. Starmer's government is quietly copying the Swiss model, a backdoor route into EU alignment. That means accepting EU rules, sending payments to Brussels, and in return, getting limited access to the single market. This isn't just trade. It's a threat to democracy. The plan begins with agriculture, but once that door opens, the EU will keep pushing. Our laws, standards, and freedoms sacrificed for diplomatic niceties. Starmer claims the public has moved on from Brexit. What he means is, you've forgotten. He hopes voters are too tired to notice Labour laying the groundwork for re-entry, inch by inch, rule by rule. The backlash is already growing. Brexiteers call it what it is, betrayal. Reform UK is sharpening its attack. Even Labour insiders know the optics are catastrophic, especially in the red wall seats they're desperate to keep. To make matters worse, this EU courtship could derail future trade with the US. Conservative MPs warn that realigning with Brussels would torpedo negotiations with Washington. Less opportunity, more bureaucracy. And in a final insult, Whitehall now reportedly hosts a surrender squad, a team not tasked with defending Britain's interests, but drafting terms of capitulation ahead of the next summit. May 19th will see Starmer host what insiders call the Surrender Summit. Call it what it is, a betrayal of Brexit, a quiet, calculated rollback dressed in diplomatic spin. Starmer may want to shine on the world stage, but for millions of voters this is déjà vu. Britain voted out, Labour is easing us back in, and if the public doesn't speak up, this time we won't even get a vote.